Good to see you. So we're very happy to be here. It's a couple of years since we could be here.
2 years.
Isn't it?
Yeah, 2 years.
So suddenly time goes, doesn't it? Yeah. But we have seen some of you in different places, which is always nice. And most recently, of course, in Korea, a few people I think I recognize from my time in Korea in February. Yeah. Michael, others. So, yes. Hi, welcome everybody. Great to see you. Great to see you. Good. Yeah. So, what shall I say? What shall I talk about?
God's love.
Yeah. First of all, I'm kind of touched and a little bit judged myself personally that you keep this kind of attendance for An Chi-il. I think that's very commendable. I don't know who else is doing that. I miss it, quite a lot myself. I don't really pay enough attention, and never quite got into the rhythm of every 8th day. But do you feel a nice rhythm to it? You are the brain behind this, I think. Am I right?
It's for this one anyway.
Yeah? A kind of rhythm every 8 days, you feel kind of...
Yes.
Yeah? Interesting.
We go for a 3-day weekend, that's the whole concept. 8 days a week. Come from England,
8 days a week, yeah, that's right. Yes, they were ahead of their time, the Beatles. So, yeah. Wanted to, it's kind of prior to one of the tasks which we've been invited to help with, which is to, and this last event in Korea, of course, marking the True Father's 100th birthday, his anniversary, and True Parents' 60th wedding anniversary, and this end of the 7-year course that True Mother had outlined since Father's passing. So many numbers came together, right? And very meaningful and very significant for that reason, and therefore, by far the biggest event that we've had. I'm sure you've had reports, right? You must have given some so I don't want to go into that. And I'm sure even those who didn't go to Korea, you could have followed quite a lot of the sections of the event online or in subsequent publicity, which is going to be very valuable after that kind of investment. There is very good follow-up work, and we want to do more and use that very well if we can, right? Because it's all part of getting the return from that huge investment, actually. But I felt, in conclusion, it was a very powerful witness to those people that we invited. And from our region, that means Europe and Middle East, we had 500 or more guests go there to Korea this time. And quite a large number of brothers and sisters, because of their Tribal Messiah work, they went there, and quite a number of people went because of the blessing, young people, and others went. In total, I think 1,005 people from Europe and the Middle East region went to Korea. So the biggest number ever, so it was very remarkable for that, and some of our sessions were quite extraordinary. There were, rooms full of 5,000 people, and a huge stage, and very amazing organization. How they do it, I have no idea, right? But somehow they have a way to get these things done there. And very complicated. In all, something like over 40 events in that period. Some very major, some smaller, but 40 different events, at least. And within that, some more kind of smaller private meetings that True Mother was having, and this kind of thing. And she made quite a few stage appearances in front of people and giving talks and speeches, this kind of thing, private dinners for VVIPs and what have you. So it's quite an extraordinary way of thinking, isn't it? Because for an NGO, which is essentially what we are, a non-governmental organization, true parents expect that we invite our head of state and that they will come. Right? That's how it is. Right? So invite your head of state should come to such an event. But of course, normally in the world, no head of state does that, right? Because they have to be invited by the government of the country that they're visiting, and that's usually a year or more before, and in planning, and diplomats are involved, and all kinds of, it's a complicated procedure, right, to do that, and you don't want to offend anybody through not following the protocol which is there. So if an NGO invites a head of state to come to a third country, what's the likelihood of them saying yes? It's very small, really. But still, some did. That's the amazing thing. Like, Prime Minister of Cambodia or other places did, So even though not officially on this occasion invited by the government, they still came, they responded to True Mother's invitation. But true parents, I think, they think very clearly, and their kind of self-identity is that their role in biblical terms is King of Kings. That's the Messiah's role, right? Is King of Kings. Therefore, you want the kings to come. Kings in a kind of metaphorical way, right? Because not every country has a royal family. Some are blessed with that, but not everybody. So, still they want to take this role. Somehow it's important spiritually to stand in that position, King of Kings. That means they have to be in a way to host heads of state, or, and very important, who were the former heads of state. So Sweden could, invite Carl Bildt. This was very amazing. And from our region, actually, we had 4 former heads of state come from our small 7-nation region. Right? So there were 4. And you must have given a little testament, did you, Michael?
Yes.
So he did an amazing job, actually. I want to acknowledge the work that he did over there, and looked totally natural amongst, his prime ministers and
He looks
former
like
prime
a
ministers.
prime minister.
Yes, often mistaken for one, I must say. The appearance is good.
Your ancestors.
Appearance is very good. And also, it's interesting, somebody told me, Mark Brand was kind of, he works in this area trying to move such people, invite such people. He said, when you go there and you meet the person from your country, they're very happy to see you because you're one of their people, even though you're in a foreign country. So actually, naturally, they feel very comfortable and very relieved to see you. So that's curious, isn't it? And for ourselves, it wasn't our invitation, but the former Prime Minister, or they say Taoiseach, of Ireland came. He was, until 2017, he was the Prime Minister for 10 or 11 years, Enda Kenny, and he went with his wife. We had no prior kind of meeting with him or association, but he came and was invited, and had a very wonderful experience. But I was introduced to him, and our connection with Ireland is that we lived there for 7 years, but that was 25 years ago, right? And we're English and Korean, but we're living in London. But still, that was enough. That from the outset, it was like we were old friends. It's curious, really. So he was saying, "What do you think about that speech, David?" and this kind of thing. And I said, "Yeah, I think you made some very good points there." And it was just kind of. And when you're in London, come to us, have a cup of tea, Yes, we'd love to do that, And it's very strange to be suddenly in that, it's new for me to be in that kind of world or relationship. But it's all helped because of this whole kind of investment and effort which two parents have made. And somewhere, True Mother is the host or hostess, of this whole, is the central figure of this whole event. Father, of course, in the spirit world. So these people are coming, they're standing on the stage, they're receiving gifts, they're presenting flowers. Mother is presenting medals to certain people. Even if somebody wants to give you some recognition or a medal, you have to receive it, right? You have to be willing to do that. So to be willing to do that is already kind of accepting something from like a higher authority. Right? So it's subtle in a way. As much as anything can be subtle in Korea, it's quite subtle. Right? So, yeah, but that's True Mother's role, to do that, is to really give God's blessing in these kind of ways to her children. And she talks about this kind of, especially religious leaders like Prophet Radebe, Samuel Radebe from South Africa, or Archbishop Ndango, others, they, as her sons. And these are my sons. I now have sons in all kinds of countries and all kind of religious backgrounds represented. And she's very happy with that, and to have Muslim sons alongside the Christian leaders, this kind of thing. So, yeah, this is all part of the Messiah's role. So, for me, another little bit of kind of wisdom in this whole process was the Sun Hak Peace Prize. You will have seen videos about that. Actually, the presentation, a ceremony, is really worth watching. It was such a high standard, so beautiful, actually. And they made very nice videos about each of the laureates, the recipients of the Peace Prize. Very well made, very nicely made. Nicer job than the same team does our own videos, actually, for the movement. So I don't know why we can't have one as nice as that, but anyway, they do a really good job, and I thought this is actually, it's a very wise move. Of course, that itself is a huge investment. It's $1 million prize shared between two people every year. Yeah, so it's not small. And of course, it goes to their foundation or their work and supports their NGO or whatever. It's not like a personal gift in that sense, but still it's very significant. And what is nice to see, this is the 4th year of the Sun Hak Peace Prize, and still coming back each time are the former laureates. They're many of them present, those who can come. They're still in touch and involved. And I thought, yes, actually, over time, maybe over 10 years, you're going to have 20 people. And these 20 people are very respected and very wonderful people in their own fields who have achieved something and really working very altruistically for the benefit of humanity. And they've received this recognition and they're grateful for that, and they continue to keep in touch. So it becomes like a wonderful alumni, right? So when that 20 becomes 40 people, then it's a very wonderful, rich kind of group supporting the movement and the work and the ideals of the movement, and demonstrating it through their activities and their life, really. So that's wonderful. It makes a lot of sense. It gives a very good feeling, really, and credibility to this work. So I was encouraged to see that. Another little high point. I'm not saying the obvious things, I hope. It's a little bit behind the scenes kind of things. I did attend one of the sessions when this Irish former Prime Minister was speaking. I attended the session for the kind of VVIPs, and they'd done the best job that they could to kind of build a set inside this huge exhibition center. Kintex is like a aircraft hangar, you know, and you had to build your stage set inside. So for this VVIP section, then they built a kind of like a mock garden, and around the garden was a square of tables, and at every seat there was a microphone, and it was very kind of, you know, nice setup, but a little bit cold, to be honest, a little bit distant. But this is where, you know, these sessions took place. At the same time, there was a session going on for the First Ladies. That means wives of Prime Ministers or former Prime Ministers, this kind of thing, First Ladies. And when the men's session, it was mostly men, right? Or that session ended, then we went kind of together to collect our wives. My wife was in this First Ladies meeting. And when we went there, this was up on a third floor of the building in a smaller, kind of cozier room. And when we went in the room, it was such a different atmosphere. It was buzzing, you know, and there were round tables, and they'd been having cake and coffee and chatting, and, you know, it was so lovely. It was much nicer than where the men were, sitting all formally in their suits and very distant from each other. And, you know, they made the point about how everybody is equal because, you know, it's like a, you know, metaphorical round table, but, you know, it didn't really work, to be honest. But the women's session was, yeah, we were all kind of envious, and, you know, we were happy to join in at the end when the photographs and everything were taking place and what have you. So, interestingly. So I'm going to test you now, okay? I'm going to test you on your acronyms. Acronyms. You know an acronym? It's where you take the first letter of some words and they make a word. Or maybe this isn't true. These are actually more initials than acronyms. But something like BBC is British Broadcasting Company, right? So, do you know what UPF is, of course? Do you know ISCP? ISCP.
International Science Conference.
Oh! Does this work? This board, this ancient technology here, does it work?
Yes.
Still. What have we got? ISCP, International Summit Council for Peace. If you get it right, you award yourself 1 point. If you correct me because I'm wrong, then you get 2 points. Okay? The school teacher approves, yeah. So it's a good system, a reward system there. Yeah, incentivize you, right? Then, what about IAPP? Anybody hand up? Hand up, please. No talking in the front. Yes?
International Association for Parliamentarians for Peace.
Exactly. International Association for Parliamentarians for Peace. Okay, how about the IAPD? Sounds like an American police department, doesn't it? The IAPD. Right? Anybody hand up? Are you going to get these all? Yes? Okay.
International Association for Peace and Development.
Yes, International Association, actually Interreligious Association for Peace and Development. So that's bringing religious leaders and politicians together. Excellent. Then we've got IAED.
Economic.
Yes, International Association for Economic Development. Excellent. Then we've got IMAP. That was launched this time in Korea. International Media Association for Peace, very good. FLP. I did mention them a little bit earlier. International Association of
First lady.
First ladies for peace. Yes. Excellent. YSP. Okay, that's a little more familiar.
Yeah.
Yes. Youth and Students for Peace. International Association of Youth and Students for Peace. Have we got now IAAP? This is an International Association again of Academicians for Peace. This is bringing together all kind of past things like PWPA and ICUS and things like that. We have IFUS, okay, I gave a clue there. International Foundation for Unity of the Sciences, so including, yeah, I'm not sure where, maybe ICUS fits into both of those. Then we had, there's one more, oh yes, WCLC, you're familiar with, right? World Clergy Leadership Conference, excellent. And then these all had sessions in this World Summit Conference. And also there was a Balkan Peace Initiative.
I know that one.
Can you guess what that acronym is? Yeah, BPI, you've got it. Very good. And then of course there was the SOMAP Peace Prize. And, okay, this is just the summit conference. Of course there was a blessing and musicals and all kinds of other things as well. Okay, so we got kind of a wash with these acronyms here, but nevertheless it's kind of important, I think, to get a grasp of those. What is, I think, very impressive about the way that True Mother is guiding things at the moment is this is really carrying on the legacy of True Father's work. You know, we know that every kind of strand of thing that he initiated is kind of coming together with more focus, actually, and more kind of attention, and developing into these international associations to allow people to come together and to share their wisdom and to work together. And it's really quite impressive when you see something that international and that number of delegates. Quite a number of our top guests were saying, it's only probably the United Nations that could do this kind of program. No other organization currently could do that. And so, it's a reason to somehow be proud, but also to kind of, like I say, use the materials, use these things. There's something in these areas which you can all find to kind of follow up with or work with, I'm sure. Okay, I just wanted to end with one little thing, which is a bit more of the sermon element to this, right, if I may. And that's just following up from something which True Mother said to us in Albania. And actually, I was in a couple of, or several smaller meetings with True Mother. And there, to us, she said, or made reference to Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. And said she had been reading this many times. Do you remember what that section is? Matthew 7, verse 7? Exactly, yes. Yes. Yeah.
What did you say?
It's this seek. Jesus saying yes, seek and ye shall find. Yeah, that's right, yes. I've got a Bible here.
English one.
Oh, here, I have got my note. That's all right, I just was flummoxed a bit. The first is ask, and it shall be given to you. And then seek, and ye shall find, and then knock, and it shall be opened unto you, or the door shall be opened unto you. Different versions, right? So ask and it will be given to you, search or seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened unto you. So Mother 3 times kind of referred to this and said, I encourage you to read this many times, and that means to kind of embrace this or live by this principle. So that struck me as quite interesting and something I should take note of. I was then kind of puzzling myself. I was thinking, is that just the same thing said 3 times? Is it the same thing which is said 3 different ways? Or is there a difference between those 3 things? Ask and you shall
be given.
And it shall be given. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. And what came to me was, I don't see this as the authoritative version. It's just my kind of inspiration. You may get a different inspiration. But I felt actually the first is really encouraging us to pray and to ask God. We ask God. This is something fundamental in prayer. Ask and it will be given to you. So God knows what we need and God will give that to us. Seek and you shall find. I think that's kind of seeking is like really searching and not giving up till you find something, right? Seeking is a very active trying to find an answer. And I think that's where, largely with that kind of condition or that sincere heart, this is where the spiritual world can come in. So for me that speaks more about the gaining this help of the spirit world. Right? If you're seeking, then you will find, something will come. Like people who are really chasing the answer to a question or a scientific, pursuit, and then the answer will come. Something will click, and something will be given to them in that way. So they're kind of the same, but it's it works that way, doesn't it? And then knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Well, that's like knocking on a door. Someone has to open the door, right? So I feel that's more about trusting that there are people there who will help you and respond to you. And you know what it's like if you are behind a closed door and somebody is knocking, it's very hard not to respond and go and open it, isn't it? At least you want to know who's there, right? So you open the door for that reason, right? But of course, if somebody you say, oh, come on in, it's nice to see you. So it's knocking. Then, of course, if you don't knock, you'll never get that door opened, right? That's the other side to it. But if you knock, there's someone who's going to respond and going to open. And I think Mother thinking ahead already, there was a lot of kind of, in Albania, we were really thinking ahead to this February, this summit, are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? So can we bring more people or high-level people? How are we going to do? So this was still very much in the air. And we weren't sure if the people we invited, if those people would come, a little uncertain. But Mother was saying, think this way, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open. Go and do it. Go and invite people. Go and ask people. And in the amazing number of cases, when we asked people, they came. And there could have been many reasons not to do that, or you think it's not worth doing that, or it's not worth asking this person, or, But no, this is the era when this kind of thing can really take place, and Mother's encouraging us that way. So use that. I would suggest you read that yourselves, and let's do that kind of together in that sense. But we can try to live by that a little bit, and be very hopeful. I think we're in a very hopeful and fortuitous year. A lot of good things will happen. that are important to God, and I'm sure you'll be part of that as well. So thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
That was sent from Korea. So some people could give $1,000, so they are given these medals. But I mean, as David said, like, not everybody can give $1,000. So every donation is needed and will be rewarded. So we have a different set of rewards to those. So everybody will receive an award. And then this we would like to invite David and Kyongja. Can you do it together? They are the officiators. And I will keep a record. So we start with these medals. So Endo-san is not here, I guess.
He's in Japan.
Oh, he's in Japan. Oh, that's why he's not here. Okay. Okay. And Freeland are not here. Okay, then we have the Futch family, please. Oh, yeah. Futch. Karin and Hans, could you please come up?
Okay, so come up here, stand here. There we go. Just look to the audience. Look to the audience. Turn around. That's it. So thank you very much. Thank you. One little photo there. Thank you. That's it?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Let's put that down there.
And then we have family Julins. Lawrence.
Smile for the camera. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Then, let's see what we have next. Och Valtraud Nylén.
Her sons are here.
Oh,
Represent.
When was the family effort?
It was not a family effort.
Take the credit.
No, we have enough representatives.
Bring the dog.
Oh, it's very handsome man.
And then we have the family of Persson, and I know this was a family effort, so yeah, Nina, you
Selfie.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Picture?
Thank you.
Then we have Mikael and Judith Sköld.
Thank you very much.
Yamashita.
Yamashita, no. Okay. Then we start with another set. De här är gjorda. Ska vi inte ta sist? Okej, should we take them? Okej, we have to take them. Pickled cheese.
Ah, yes, yes. It's important. Everything is important.
Thank you. Well done.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
You can see we don't do this every day.
Then we have Atkinson. Tim and Emma.
This is coming your way.
Thank you.
This is also Maria's special heart for everybody here.
Och Karlssons. Hans och Liliana. Det är den sista.
Very important.
It's just an excuse, we can have a picture with you.
Vi har Linda Lindström. Kolla, jag har inte det. Thank you. There are more prizes to give out, but they could not come today.
That's everybody who's here today.
Shall I announce? Okay, the public announcement. Endosan and Freeland, Nina Hansen also gave, and Helströms, Houston's, and Kikuko, of course, and Yamashita. Yeah, so we're very grateful.
Of course, we know our families are financially or struggles, whatever given is wonderful, but also who couldn't give it as fun, you pray that continuously this dedication, this all success come, heart of brothers and sisters, incredible prayer dedication. Thank you so much for your prayer. Thank you. God bless you.
And this whole event was very much a victory. True parents were very happy with the outcome. So that is your victory as well, everybody. Thank you.
En stor applåd för oss själva.